say we'll cover that. We could talk about the Beebs being in jail. Did you watch any of the news?
No, I just heard about him being in jail. I don't even know what he did.
He got arrested for DUI and drag racing on the street. I saw a video of it. Somebody was behind him, and they knew it was him, and it's just him and this other guy fucking driving Lambos down the streets of Miami. And they got pulled over, and he got arrested, and there's no audio, but you see him getting out of the car and getting pinned down against the car. They take that shit really seriously.
On top of everything, I bet he lost the race.
I don't even know if they got to fucking start. But he had other charges too. Like there was a chance he was going to get prosecuted for a major like national felony where he vandalized some dude's house.
He validated his house.
He validated some dude's house. So really, that's a good thing.
He walked up to it and gave him his Justin Bieber stamp of approval and said, "Yes, this."
Literally,
he said, "Yes."
He tagged it.
He's like, "Yes, this is a house."
And that was it. And he walked away. And the guy was like, "I've just been validated by Justin Bieber."
I don't know whether to be honored or
disgusted, or a little bit of both. Because he egged this dude's house and apparently did a lot of damage and almost hurt the guy's daughter, so that was bad. So yeah, he actually got out though today. He's not in jail right now. They bailed him out, but he's still got to go to. Well, it's not done yet though, because he's still got to be arraigned and shit. So
yeah,
he's gonna go to court, but it's just gonna be how bad the consequences are. But with all the shit stacked up against him, well, they might. If they find it really bad, they might take away his green card, and he might be deported because he's not American.
Yeah, they're gonna have to screen the jury to make sure there's no Justin Bieber fans.
Yeah, that's true. I out of curiosity, because I was really bored today, super bored. I started coughing. I went on his Twitter feed, and it was just a bunch of people who were just like. It's a cult, dude. It literally is a cult. Like, it's just like people going like, we have to do our jobs before the media does theirs. It's like, what job? You're Justin Bieber fans.
They're all lining up in the streets. Free Bieber.
Yeah, well, yeah, some people are. If you look at the trends on Twitter right now, it's free the Beebs, fucking Beliebers. We'll always stand by Justin. But the other half is fucking like deport Bieber.
Yes, I'm on that side of the coin myself.
I mean, I'm just that way because he's a fucking asshole. It's gone beyond the music. Like, his music is shit, but like that's irrelevant. Like, it's all about how he's a shitty person, and it's a problem because kids look up to him.
Yeah, and I mean, there are plenty of bad pop stars out there, but none that inspire the level of hatred that I have for Justin Bieber.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, again, it's not just the music, because that's one thing, but it's like he's just such a shitty human being.
Right. In terms of music, I kind of look at it the same way that I used to look at, like, Hannah Montana fans, and I was like, why?
And then you saw Miley Cyrus fuck a wrecking ball, and you were like, oh, that's why.
Times have changed, my friend. Times have changed.
Times have changed. Well, Dylan, what do you say we get started?
Yeah.
This is all good shit for the podcast. So again, if I fucking start dying, pop in.
All right.
Hang on, last swig of water. Hello, everyone. I'm Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazubaar, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Demon Surmounter Space. Joining me, as always, I have Super DM64.
Hello, everybody.
And I would just like to take this opportunity to apologize for how unenthusiastic I sound and how...
Hoarse.
Just...
Yeah.
What?
You sound hoarse, too.
I do. I am, or I was, ungodly sick. I was really, really sick yesterday. I have no idea what I had because I didn't go to the doctor. It's all cold symptoms. It's just elevated, so I don't know. I don't think it was the flu, because if it was the flu, I would have gone to the doctor. But I just sore throat, coughing, sneezing, really bad pains, all if I had a fever, all the really basic, like cold symptoms. But I felt a lot better today. Like yesterday, and it may not sound it, but I really feel better today. Yesterday, I really couldn't move because the pains were so bad that if I just tried to get up, I would just and my head was so filled with just, from the sneezing and the coughing and the congestion, just filled with just crap that it was just hard to sit up and move around, and it was bad. And it was if this was yesterday and we had to do the Demons of Outer Space and I felt like that wouldn't have happened. It just wouldn't have happened. But I'm feeling better today. The voice isn't exactly better, but the fact that I'm able to speak intelligently is a good sign. So yeah, so I apologize for the voice, and I'm going to lean a lot on Dylan tonight to be the intelligible one here.
Oh boy.
So we'll see how that goes.
Because I am so well known for my intelligibility.
Yeah, you're very strong colloquialisms. So Dylan, oh God, we live in a world now where a couple of things are happening. We have a lot of major things happening in the media right now and in the world that I feel are absolutely topics that must be discussed by the Demons from Outer Space. Because where would this world be without these topics? As we were mentioning before we started recording, the Beebs got arrested.
Beebs.
The Beebs has been put into jail. He's been incarcerated in a Miami prison.
Well, he's been released now.
Yes, he's been released now, but he was incarcerated. No, he wasn't incarcerated. He was jailed this morning. So I guess he wasn't in prison. He was in jail, because jail is the one that's not What's the difference? Jail is you get put in jail.
Jail is where they hold you.
Right, and then prison is where you're incarcerated.
Prison is where you've already been proven guilty and you are going away.
Right, okay. So he was in jail, a Miami jail. And Dylan, I know you haven't been following this as you didn't see any news yourself, right? You heard it from other people?
Yeah, I heard that he was in prison. I had no idea what he had done.
Yes, but as I said when before we started recording, apparently the Beebs was motoring down a Miami street, and apparently he decided to take part in street drag racing, because that's just so fucking smart, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna catch you doing that shit, right? Especially when you're driving two multicolored Lamborghinis at 120 miles per hour. Nobody's gonna catch you doing that shit.
That won't have any negative effects whatsoever.
Not at all.
Does Justin Bieber think he's Vin Diesel? Is that what's going on here?
Either that or he thinks he's fucking Franklin from GTA 5, because I was watching the clip somebody recorded of him actually doing the drag racing, and then the beginning of him getting arrested, then the camera shut off. And I swear to God, Dylan, have you played GTA 5?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. There's one of the opening scenes of GTA 5, you play as this character named Franklin, who works for a used car shop, and you're repo men, basically. You and his associate Lamar, I think his name's Lamar. I don't remember him and the other guy. They break into this dude's house and they swipe these car keys because they're repoing his two Lamborghinis for some reason. It's all obviously illegal. And there's this green and red Lamborghini, and you pick one, and you have to drive it back to the used car lot. And you obviously break a lot of traffic laws, and you act like a badass. You got gangster music playing. You're just fucking you tossing around ghetto ass language with your associate.
As you do.
As you do. And it's all very, very modern, ghetto rap language and all that, and very much so that kind of style. And it seems to me that was he trying to recreate that shit? Because they're both the same fucking cars. I swear to God, he's driving the same exact fucking cars. So I want to know, because apparently he was also high on Mary Jane when he was caught. Not the Spider-Man character, the narcotic.
Yeah.
As if I had to, like, say that to anybody. Just like, they're like, hey, asshole, we know.
Pretty sure you're the first person to ever make that joke, Bill.
I know, right? It's like a fucking 5th grade joke. Like, oh, I know what marijuana is. It was very impressive to my 5th grade friends. Not so much with Dylan. So Beebs was high, and I wonder if, like, in his high fantasy, he was like, you know what I want to do? And his friend was like, what do you want to do? What's your dream, Beebs? I want to recreate the opening scene of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Because his friends just call him Beebs.
In my fantasy, they call him the Beebs.
In Bill's Justin Bieber fantasy.
I have. See, that sounds weird, but if you were in my mind, it wouldn't be as weird.
Obviously.
I have a fantasy about everything. Just like it doesn't constitute a lot of time. Whenever I hear something, I just immediately build my own version of it, and that's just my fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I like hear a news story or there's some person, I just immediately build a profile of that person in my mind based on my own assumptions.
So do you do that thing that like JD from Scrubs does, where you just like where you just all of a sudden stare off camera and just imagine something happening?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that scene where he hears about the 5-year-old kid who's breastfeeding, and he has this image of like this 30-year-old man like breastfeeding on his mother. I do. They're not always as perverse as that, but yes, I do. I mean, this happened last week with the bonus content I released, because I had this fantasy of like the meeting for the Transformers toy line going like really like it was very racially charged, and there's a lot of heinous language. Yeah. I'm sorry everyone for my voice. This sucks. Hopefully you guys will find this entertaining.
We probably would have skipped this week, except that there's not going to be one next week. So
yeah, if I was considering asking you to do one with Andres, but I know he works tonight, so I figured that wouldn't work out. So I was just like, fuck it, we'll do it and see what happens. And if it's really bad, I just won't post it. But yeah, we're not gonna be doing the Demons from Outer Space next week because Dylan is going to be tearing off the mask of life and staring into the face of God.
Of course.
No, what are you doing? You fucking going up to Grizzly Adams or whatever?
I'm I guess you could put it that way. I am going on an annual trip that I take over to the Appalachians. You know.
Okay, don't get dysentery.
I will not get dysentery.
Well, what's up there? Do you have a house up there or something?
No. We just go over there a lot.
Oh, I see. Do you like camp?
No.
So you just drive up to the mountains and then drive back?
Yeah, you go to the mountains, you spend a few days there, you relax, get away,
Oh, is there a hotel?
Yeah, there's a hotel, yeah.
Oh.
It's a town in the mountains. Like, if you want to go hiking, that's like 5 seconds away, and if you want to ski, you can take a tram up to the top of the mountain and ski up there, but I usually just, go up there and, like, just, chill, recharge my batteries,
Breathe in nature.
Yeah.
Do they have skiing? Is there snow year-round?
No, I think they, if there's...
So do they mud ski?
No, I think they do artificial. I think...
That needs to become a thing, mud skiing.
If there is snow up there, then obviously they can just ski on that, but I think they have artificial snow when it's not snowing up there. Like, they have, like, snow blowers.
Oh, like that shit that they use in movies.
Yeah.
Because... Here's a hint, folks. Whenever you see it rain or snow in movies, it's not actually rain and snow.
Right, sometimes it's actually paper.
Right, because rain and snow doesn't really show up on camera. I mean, you can get it to, but it never looks right. Like, I made a movie last year, called The Monster Within, which was a short film I made for a college application, and we shot it over the course of 2 weekends, and there was obviously a scene where the character had to go outside. And when we first shot it, we got up to a certain point, and we had to stop. So the next weekend, we'll go back and just finish all that up. and we didn't think we'd have to reshoot anything. And then we came back to reshoot that, and the night we were going to reshoot it, it started snowing a lot. And we had to get it done that night, so I was like, all right, I guess we're going to have to reshoot all of it and just, at least the outside stuff, so that way it's all consistent. Because we can't just have it spontaneously start snowing and have it make sense. That and I was wearing different clothes, so we had to reshoot it. But we got to, there's one shot in that whole thing that I really love that we did, where when Nicola, because Nicola was the camera woman, she took a flashlight and she increased the diameter, I guess is what you'd say, the circumference, I guess, and or the area, the surface area, let's say, the surface area of the flashlight, and she pointed it out towards me, and I was walking towards the camera, and it was just so that way you could see my outline. And you could see the snow, like, highlighted. Because what we didn't realize is that the camera on the display screen does not show what's going to be on film as well as it's going to be on film, which you would think would be logical, but, I didn't think that. So it ended up not looking like how it looked on the viewfinder, because what it looked like was the street lights weren't illuminating me at all, and that the flashlight was the only thing illuminating me. And what you got was this weird effect of like everything around the beam was dark, and the snow was coming through the beam, and it was kind of cool. But actually, when I edited it, something else happened that was cooler. Like everything was illuminated, and the snow was becoming highlighted as it fell through the center of the screen, and it had this really interesting effect. So it depends on when snow shows up on film. Why the fuck did I tell that story?
Snowblowers, artificial snow.
Oh,
You were talking about snow in movies. Yeah, I think they do. I think that's what they do, is that they have artificial snow, because people ski up there, even if it's not snowing. So that they have to have some sort of system in place.
What is artificial snow made of?
I imagine you would make it kind of like you would make a snow cone. Like it would actually be made of water.
That's true.
Like.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
You blinded me with science, Dylan. You blinded me with science.
Yeah, I don't camp or anything. I'm going to be in a hotel.
You go searching for Sasquatch.
Some people over there stay in chalets, but I have yet to stay in a chalet.
What's a chalet?
A chalet is like a cabin, but it's on stilts, and it's built into the side of the mountain.
So it's like the fucking Fortress of Solitude.
Kind of. Way less cool than that.
How big are they? And do they literally like go into the rock, or is it just built on the side?
No, it's like a cabin on the side of the mountain, but obviously.
Oh, it doesn't go into the rock.
But because of the grade of the mountain, obviously, it sort of sticks out, and what it is it's basically on stilts to make it level.
Okay, but my question is, it's not like they're in a cave, right?
No.
Like the cabin is built on the side, and there's no penetration of the rock.
No. I mean, I guess there could be.
Right. I mean, I guess there would have to be like keep it on there, but it wouldn't. What I mean is like it doesn't like there's like a platform, and then it goes into the rock like the fucking Batcave.
No, yeah, it's basically like I said, a cabin on the side of the mountain that uses stilts to remain level.
I think I've seen those before.
Yeah.
In movies and shit. How many days you gone for?
I'm gonna be there over the weekend. I'm gonna leave Thursday, come back Sunday.
I see. Cool. So we will not be doing the Demons from Outer Space next week.
And I will not be in the next episode of SOS.
And he will not be in the next episode of SOS. And we would record it earlier, but I start school on Monday, so that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So this is the last episode for the next 2 weeks, so I figured we'd get one up and just pray it's decent. We're trying, though. We're trying. So the Beebs, Dylan's going on vacation. Those are two things we discussed. My sickness. Dylan, do you, because this is something we don't talk about a lot, but you and I we both fancy ourselves writers.
Yes.
Do you do any writing while you're up there?
I haven't, as of yet. That's a good idea, actually. I have come up with ideas up there before, but as far as actually sitting down and writing something, I haven't really, taking advantage of that. That's not a bad idea, though. One of these days I got to try that, because I've heard of people doing that,
Yeah, I mean, isolation is something that a lot of people like to do, or just a change of scenery will sometimes help people with their writing. it did kind of, and this is so weird because Mountain Walker has been such a slow process, but getting some of the nitty-gritty, what happens and the main players down was something I did when I was at Virginia Beach, which is weird because it's like the complete opposite of where the movie is set.
Right.
Because it's like mountains, beautiful beach. And by the way, if any of you listening, and Dylan, I don't think you have because I think you would have told me, if you haven't been to Virginia Beach, holy shit, you are missing out. It is gorgeous. Oh, wonderful, wonderful area. Expensive as fuck, but beautiful. Dylan, you ever been? No, right? Because you would have told me.
No.
Okay.
Because you've mentioned Virginia Beach before, so naturally, if I had been there before, I would have been like, oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, and you especially know because we did the DBZ reviews the week before I went away, and that was a major thing. Like we got to get it done before I go away.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is where you went that time.
And that was kind of the catalyst for the Demons from Outer Space was those reviews.
Oh yeah.
Because we had done 7 videos, just you and I, and we were able to get they were like feature length, so we knew we could get like a show out of it. And then of course SOS was also a part of that.
4 of which actually managed to be on my channel.
4 of which? Wait, was it 4? Yeah, it was 4.
It was 4.
Right?
It was 4.
Yeah, because there's only 3 on mine.
Yeah.
But everyone went back because the view count's pretty consistent across the board.
That's good.
Yeah. So yeah. If you've listened to the whole Demons from Outer Space playlist and you're pining for some more Bill and Dylan, go listen to those reviews because that's what it is.
Yeah, they're decent.
I mean they're great, but it's a little different because we've obviously got a topic and
yeah,
we don't make as many jokes. It's a little more serious.
Yeah, go watch those and look at the intro and see what happens when I'm not being lazy.
Yeah, look at what happens when Dylan puts work into shit because he can kick some ass when he's putting effort in. Not that I should talk because I'm just as bad. Like I posted a review of Sherlock Series 3 today that I did with Ian. Mm-hmm. And I obviously edited it when I wasn't feeling well, and it shows. There's literally 2 pictures and 1 audio track. And that's it.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Sounds like an episode of Kaiju Spotlight.
It's you've at least got like 5 or 6. Like mine's just 2, and the audio track isn't broken at all. It's one continuous stream of consciousness.
Yeah, but you realize how simply I do that. I have like 2 or 3 images that I use every time, and then I'll get like 2 or 3 of whatever monster I'm talking about, and then just rotate between them.
It's very economic. Very very economic.
Very economic.
You don't have to say who it is, but do you have an idea of who your next kaiju is going to be?
I have it narrowed down.
How many?
To 2, basically.
When you come up with a new kaiju, what is your process? Is it just like what's ever on your mind?
Oh, choosing who I'm going to do on the show.
Yeah.
That is actually the hardest part of doing the show.
Yeah, I imagine.
To tell you the truth, I'm thinking of in the next episode, like, asking for suggestions in the comments, because that is literally the hardest part about deciding. I don't know, it just sort of comes to me, really. I mean, there's sort of been a method to my madness. I started off doing Godzilla monsters, then I did a couple Ultraman monsters, and I've done a Gamera monster now, but I'm going to space those way out, because let's be honest, there aren't that many Gamera monsters.
Right, yeah, you gotta be economic with those, and even those that are, there's not a ton to say about all of them, because a lot of them are just one-off appearances. Like, you're going to have to... If I were you, I'd save Gauss for, like, the last one, because that's where you get your most material.
Him and Gamera himself, obviously.
And you're going to cover the big ones, right? Like, you're going to do Godzilla, you're going to do Gamera.
Yeah. I don't know when, because those are obviously, like, big names. Like, that has to be an event.
Right, like for the, 100th anniversary of the Kaiju Spotlight.
In the year 2113.
Oh, I really hope you live that long. I hope we both live that long.
We'll both be 100.
You and I are just sitting in...
We'll be 119 years old. So, Bill, what do you think about Godzilla?
No, but I think we'll be communicating telepathically.
How do you record a telepathic conversation?
It's the future. It's possible.
That's what they said about flying cars. You lied to me, Jetsons.
Oh God. Dylan, have you ever seen the short that Kevin Smith did for Clerks called "The Flying Car"?
No.
He did it for the Jay Leno show. Look it up on YouTube. It's fucking hysterical. It's literally just the two main characters from Clerks, Dante and Randall, just sitting in a car in traffic, and they just start having this. And Randall was like, "Damn it! If only we had the flying car, we could get out of this." And the whole conversation is just insane, because they're just talking. The whole topic is the flying car, but they go all over the fucking place, and where it leads to is Randall trying to convince Dante that for the sake of humanity, in order to get the flying car, he has to cut off his arm and then get gangbanged by like 4 rich dudes.
Of course.
It's insane. And then Dante is finally like, yes, I'll do it. Jesus Christ. For the good of mankind, I'll get fucked, cut off an arm, just for the flying car. And then there's this silence. Randall looks over to like the traffic, and then he looks back to Dante and he goes, "You'd get gangbanged just for a flying car?" And then it just ends. It's fucking great. If you haven't seen it, just look up Kevin Smith Flying Car on YouTube. It's great. Great stuff. Dylan, there's one thing we like to bring up a lot here at the Demons from Outer Space. There's one topic of conversation that we like to constantly bring up.
Are you referring to a certain member of the animal kingdom?
I am. Something that we can never seem to escape from. Dylan, let's talk about squids. No, Dylan, we have more Blackfish updates that have come out in the last week since we did the Lost Skeleton of Cadaver commentary.
I just got to say, I love how this has become a thing. Like when
I know, right? Like
when we
it
started the SOS and subsequently the DFOS, I never imagined that we would wind up being whale activists.
Right? At the very least, like, whenever something would come up about it, like, bring it up. So apparently we've become associated very closely with Blackfish. And it's obviously been a major point of interest for me, and I think I've at least mustered up a passing interest in you. So Dylan, you saw the movie.
I did.
Did you watch it more than once or just the once?
Just the once.
Okay. Have you done any internet searches based on it? Like, have you dug into any details at all?
Other than looking at orcas for references when I was drawing our orca kaiju, no.
Okay, so this is a big thing. Blackfish, when I first saw it, I had never heard of it until the night that I watched it. So I think that, and I kind of feel bad because I kind of ruined your experience because I told you like every scene. I just couldn't help myself.
I still enjoyed it. It just didn't have the impact that I think it was supposed to.
Right. I literally described to you every frame. But I literally went in completely cold and just had my world rocked. And everybody I've talked to who's seen the film has had a similar reaction. I haven't talked or heard from anybody who does not belong to a certain demographic that was like, so, what's the big deal? Not one person. Everybody was like, oh my god, that's disgusting. Except for one particular group of people. Those who work for or have worked for SeaWorld recently.
Or also Eric Cartman, because he doesn't give a crap about stupid whales.
Right. Or Cartman. Has South Park covered this at all?
No, they're not in season right now, so.
Oh, I'd imagine this is something they get to. Because Dylan, it's been a big, huge thing in the news recently.
Like I wish that they were in making episodes right now, like, you know, because they're in their off season, because this would make a perfect sequel to the Whale Whores episode.
Oh, God, yeah. But anyway, a lot of controversy in the news right now over Blackfish, particularly over SeaWorld's reaction to it. Because for like the first 3 weeks when it wasn't... Because again, when I first saw it, I had no idea what it was. I just knew that it was a documentary about the attacks by orcas at SeaWorld. And what the consequences of that. And I had no idea what the ins and outs were or what the movie was. And then I saw it, of course, had the reaction I did. We recorded that episode on it. But following that, it exploded. And it obviously had nothing to do with our podcast, but following the release of the movie on like other platforms, because where I saw it first was iTunes.
Right.
And then it was also available on YouTube and all these other places. But then I think where it really exploded was when it was put on Netflix.
Oh, that's when I saw it, because I was like, now I can watch this for free, and so now I'm interested.
Right, right, exactly. Because I think everybody had that reaction where they were like, yeah. Well, Netflix is like, that's the most used video download source now. That's not, like, it's the Blockbuster of today. So that's where everybody saw it. And it exploded after that. And then, of course, it was, talked about a lot for Oscar season, which it was not nominated, which is, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that it should have been nominated. But the director says that she's not surprised because she didn't make the movie in a sense that it wasn't really meant to be like a piece of art. It was more, she said it was more supposed to be like a news package more than anything else. Than it is supposed to be like a film. She's just trying to tell a story and not be so artsy-fartsy about it.
I can get that. I get that feeling from it. I'm sure all the documentaries that they nominated for the Oscars are documentaries that I've never heard of and about
I haven't heard of any of them.
About topics that I probably don't care about.
Right. I don't know what's been nominated this year in that category. I'm interested now that the Blackfish didn't. And with our recent obsession with documentaries, I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued to see. Anyway, so obviously been a lot of reaction to it, and because of the explosion of people on Twitter and people on Facebook and YouTube just outpouring their feelings on it and what they had seen in the film, SeaWorld, because at first SeaWorld was like, we're just going to ignore it, but then it just gets to a point where it's like, yeah, we can't ignore this anymore because this is just too big. And too many people were, saying, we're never going to SeaWorld again, blah, blah, blah. They're losing revenue over it because they've got musical acts. And I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a major thing where musical acts at SeaWorld that were, scheduled to perform there, major names canceled because of Blackfish, because of what the film had showed about their corporation, and people were just like, "Fuck you! I'm not performing at your parks."
Huh.
People like Willie Nelson, bunch of people, like 6 or 7 bands were just like, "Fuck you!" And more than that, even though, obviously it's all over the news and stuff. So at a certain point, SeaWorld, and this also, I was reading news stories about this earlier. This could not have come at a worse time for SeaWorld. You know why?
Why?
Because they just went public last year.
Oh.
So if they start losing revenue now, they are fucked. So this is a good thing and a bad thing for 2 reasons. Because also this week, and why I'm bringing up Blackfish specifically now was because I saw a video that I told Dylan existed, and he didn't get the chance to watch it, but that's okay, because I don't really have a lot to say about it. Where a former SeaWorld trainer, who was like a recent trainer, like less than a year ago, responded to what Blackfish was talking about, and he made a YouTube video about it where he did an interview, and basically he was just saying that the whole movie is bullshit. I had to watch it, just out of curiosity. Because I was like, how? How can you honestly say that this movie is bullshit when you've got all this shit on video, you've got multiple eyewitness testimonies, and there's nothing about it where I can be like, this is fabricated or this is slanted. So I had to see it. And I walked away, and my opinion didn't really change at all. I certainly looked at it and said the guy isn't an idiot. He's not being like, what makes his argument slightly more credible for the fact that SeaWorld is not, is not like this evil corporation is that he's not representing them specifically because he doesn't work for them anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the thing.
Unless they came to him very much under the table, he's not getting paid to say this.
According to him, he's not, but you never know. But he did raise one. There's one thing he said. Actually, two things. I'm sorry. There's two things he said in the whole video that I completely agreed with, or partially. One was that people can't just watch the movie and then automatically go, that's it. I'm all for whales being freed, and that's it. I don't need to do anything else. That's just it. And what he's basically saying is, you can't just watch the movie and then assume that you know everything about this situation. And I think that that's absolutely true. And I think that another thing he says that contradicts that point is at one point he goes, Blackfish is a movie designed to make you feel, not to make you think. And I was like, what the fuck what movie did you watch? Because I walked away from that movie and I couldn't stop thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very thought-provoking piece, and of course it's going to make you feel because of the subject matter. And it's a movie, so emotion is very much so tied with what they're trying to convey. And what I think kind of contradicts what he also says with, doing your research is a lot of people have been motivated to look all this shit up and look into this stuff, because that was my personal experience, was I watched the movie and automatically just started doing Google searches and research and shit, because I just got fascinated with, I can't believe this is going on. So, I don't know. I thought it was, I didn't think he was an idiot, I just think his opinion is, everything you think somebody supporting SeaWorld in this would say, he says. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, what has SeaWorld itself's reaction been?
Oh, okay. So again, this guy not directly representing SeaWorld, as I said. But SeaWorld's reaction has been pretty vigorous in the past month and a half. So basically, here's what they've done. They've released a bunch of press releases to film critics and to newspapers and shit, just basically telling people that, oh, don't listen to it, the movie's wrong, blah, blah, blah. And they've opened up an entire section of their website called The Truth About Blackfish. And basically the whole thing is just the movie is entirely false and inaccurate, and everything that's shown is not true. Which I'm just like, no, that's not true. Because it's such a weird thing to deny when it's on video and shit. Just a very, very... They've been very, very awkward about it, and the best part, they've been tweeting a lot. And what they've been doing is, obviously I don't follow SeaWorld on Twitter. But what they did was, and what you could do on Twitter, is you pay Twitter to put a tweet on everybody's timeline, and it's called a sponsored tweet. And it pops up on everybody's timeline, and SeaWorld has done this a couple of times after Blackfish, and it's all just been like, this is not true. And the major one that I saw first was SeaWorld does not split up mothers and calves. And you know what's really funny about it, Dylan?
What?
Today, I was reading an article written by the director of Blackfish.
Yeah.
Who was responding directly to all these tweets and shit. And she said, by the way, that tweet that they put out about the mother and calf, that picture of those two particular orcas, yeah, they're split up. One lives in Texas and one lives in Spain.
Wonderful.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing is that? The PR thing that they tried to do shoots them in the foot. It's like, you have to wonder if these people engineered it. You have to wonder. You absolutely have to wonder. Like, if there's some outside force just, trying to... that's such a complete, utter coincidence that it's insane. The other one was just don't watch whale activist propaganda and consider it the truth. And it's like, fuck you. It's not propaganda. It's a fucking documentary. They've just been very, very defensive about it, and they haven't. And the problem that they've been having is they haven't been debating the issues. They've been debating the integrity of the film.
Yeah. See, they would have been better off just ignoring the whole thing if this is how they want to try and handle it. I mean, they're just making themselves look even less credible.
Oh, definitely. You see, it's weird because I don't know if ignoring it would help them at this point because it's become such a big thing. I think that what they're doing is not the way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's certainly a debatable issue. It's not one of those things where it's like it's totally one-sided. It's a morally unquestionable thing. Obviously, there's some gray areas here. There's some gray areas about SeaWorld doesn't just, profit off these whales. A lot of the money that they make goes into rehabilitation and into care for these animals and into conservation. So that's the big gray area, is that the money they make from this entertainment is going into that. A lot of it is. No, less than half, let's say. Because obviously now they've got shareholders and stuff they have to pay off.
Right.
So that's a major thing. That's just the big thing, is that I don't know how, like, what the director of the movie says is like, because another thing that they've said, and I want to talk about this a little bit. So, Dylan, in the movie, what would you say is the percentage of people who at least give SeaWorld, like, some kind of leg up? Like, some kind of positive thing in the movie? Like, well, really only one person, right?
That I can remember, yes.
So it's like, obviously the movie is a little bit slanted in the amount, like, in the sides, in the side of the argument that's being presented. And that's been one of SeaWorld's big defensive things, is that, it's very one-sided, they're not talking about the positives. You want to know why it is that way? Because everybody they asked to go on the other side said no. Everybody they asked to be interviewed who would have defended SeaWorld said they wouldn't be interviewed. So it's like, what do you expect? It's that way because you made it that way.
Sounds like they saw the ship sinking and got out while they could.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel so sorry for the guy who bought stock in SeaWorld right before the movie came out.
You gotta wonder a year from now what's going to become of it. I don't know. It's a big controversial thing. I just wanted to mention it because obviously we talked a lot about it. We've talked a lot about it in the past couple episodes. So I just wanted to update everybody who listens on it. I don't know. I find it to be a fascinating thing, and obviously it's very controversial, and everybody has their own opinion on it. I just thought I'd mention it. And I just think it's so insanely. I want to see where this goes because I'm like, I'm obviously someone now who's like, fuck SeaWorld. That's my thing. That's my stance on it. But I just want to see where it goes because of the reaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to mention that briefly.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes. Like, do you realize how surreal it would be if SeaWorld winds up tanking because of all this?
I mean, it's not impossible.
It is not impossible. It almost seems likely.
Because of how popular the movie is.
But I mean, it would be so surreal for me just because they've been around so long. Like,
oh yeah,
I can't imagine a world where it doesn't exist. You know what
right?
I mean?
Exactly. But you know what? It's as surreal as it would be. It's kind of there's a historical precedent for this kind of thing happening, where something that is perceived as maybe inhumane becomes just undeniably inhumane in the public consciousness. Like, look at animals in circuses.
Mm-hmm.
That is oftentimes now perceived as almost 100% inhumane. Circuses, not exceptionally popular nowadays.
Not really, no.
Unless Cirque du Soleil is really the only one. That's because it's not a traditional circus. It's all obviously like, acrobatics and stuff.
If you're gonna be a successful circus, you have to like take really good care of your animals and make it very publicly known that you do so.
Exactly, and even then, it's just using them in that way is just perceived as inhumane. And I think that as time goes on, something like SeaWorld is just in a way that it's like that there is a historic precedent for it, where it's like it's going to be perceived as inhumane. Just because of the evolution of society and the norms and generations. Like, we grew up in a generation where there was no blackfish.
Right, yeah.
Where we didn't perceive SeaWorld in this way where this shit was going on. It's going to be really interesting to see what the kids of the following generation are going to think, or generations to come, where they grew up with this movie existing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really interesting. See, I think in a world where we've got kids growing up where this movie exists when they are kids, I just don't think it makes sense that SeaWorld's going to be around for the like, I give SeaWorld 25 years.
It's so weird because it's almost like when you look back at like institutions that used to exist when like your grandparents were young, and you think like how barbaric was that, and now the people coming up are going to think that about SeaWorld, and we're going to be those old people that are like, well, no.
It's like, it wasn't that way when I was a youngin'. Dylan, did you ever go to SeaWorld?
I never actually went to SeaWorld.
I've been there once. And I was an ignorant kid, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was like wonderful. But obviously you didn't see all the other stuff going on, you know, behind the scenes, so to speak. You just saw, like, you didn't even see the whales that outside of the training.
You would be at home, you would see a cheesy commercial, and then if you went, you would see the show, and that would be about it.
You have to wait for certain times to see the whales that are not in the show, because there's this one display tank just for the whole day, but they're rarely in there. So you just get to see them in the show, and obviously it's wonderful, it's impressive because you get to see this thing up close, and it's something you would probably never see otherwise, and it's obviously very impressive. But even, and I went to another place in Canada that was very SeaWorld. That's called Marineland. In Niagara Falls, and they had orcas too. And Marineland was kind of like the Kmart version of SeaWorld.
So it's kind of like that place from the beginning of the movie.
It's a little nicer than that, but it's still pretty sketchy. Because it's like, okay, so Dylan, here's what, and there's a picture of me somewhere in my attic, where I'm petting an orca when I was a kid, and I was at Marineland. It's a sketchier version of SeaWorld. The tank's smaller. They've got like 2 or 3 orca whales. They're all small.
And now you watch Blackfish and you think that thing could have took my arm off.
Yo, and Dylan, you want to know what's more fucked up?
What?
I touched its tongue.
Oh. And that was the day that orca developed a taste for human blood. Yeah. Have you ever been to any aquariums like that? Have you ever seen an orca in person? I've been to aquariums, but never anyone who had an orca.
Oh, really? Okay. So, what about any kind of whales, like belugas or something?
Yeah, I've seen belugas.
Belugas seem to be the one that everybody has
because they're so much smaller. So it's like any aquarium can keep one.
You want to know what's weird though? I think I've mentioned this on Demons from Outer Space before. As much as I was ignorant of stuff like Blackfish happening, I always had this weird fear of whales as a kid.
Was it because of orca?
No, because I never saw orca as a kid. I only saw orca like, 7 years ago. So, I mean little kid, like 8 or 9, I was afraid of whales. And you know why? Because I have this vivid image in my head of going to, I've been to a lot of aquariums. And as a kid, I went to this one in New York called the New York Aquarium.
Makes sense.
And, it was in Queens. And was it in Queens? It was either in Queens or it was on Fire Island. I don't remember. I'm gonna say it's Queens. And it was this very I have this vivid memory of going up to this giant, like, circular tank, and it was really dirty looking and grimy looking, and there was nothing in the water, and then I went up to the side of the glass, and just this big beluga just flew past the glass and scared the shit out of me. And obviously, I must have exaggerated this in my mind, because there's no way that they could put them in a tank like that, because they have to fucking breathe.
Right.
So unless it was open on top, but there's no way. There's no way. Because usually in a whale display, it's like ground level. Like the whales come up to the top of the water, and then there's also, you go subterranean and you can see them underwater.
Right, they would have to, like, put scuba masks on the whales.
Can you imagine? Help us, we're drowning. Shut the fuck up! That whale just talked. It was drowning. No, it wasn't. Don't worry about it. Blackfish is bullshit. What's blackfish?
That hasn't even come out yet.
Oh Jesus! Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Lots of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Belugas are so small for whales, though.
They are. Well,
like if only they were the
dolphins or whales.
I'm not 100% sure. If only they were black and white, they could be our potbelly orcas.
Well, they're technically our potbelly orcas. They're called false killer whales. You ever see a false killer whale?
No, I don't think I've ever seen a false killer whale.
They look like killer whales, but they're all black.
I'm gonna look this shit up.
Yeah. They look just like orcas, except they're all black. And they're creepy looking. And then they also put them a lot in aquariums and shit.
Are they so they're smaller than a?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna see if belugas are dolphins though. Once again, we get so fucking scientific on this show.
Wow, these are some weird looking creatures.
With the false killer whales?
Yes.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm looking at an aquatic xenomorph.
Yeah, they're weird looking, aren't they? You want to see a weirder looking thing? Well, you probably know what this is, but a narwhal is probably the weirdest looking.
Oh yeah, narwhals are weird, man.
Yeah, they're really weird.
How does that happen?
I don't know, man.
The unicorns of the sea.
I'm gonna see. No, I think it's a whale. It's not a dolphin. I mean, they're all in the same goddamn family, but like killer whales are dolphins. They just got named killer whales because of how big they are.
Yeah.
And the whales are different. But dolphins are just smaller whales. That's really all they are.
Oh great! I found a picture of a polar bear chowing down on a narwhal. That's nice.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I'm gonna look up. Because you know what I always thought when I was a kid?
What?
I always thought narwhals were like male belugas, and I always thought belugas were female narwhals. Which is not true at all.
It doesn't not make sense though.
No, I mean it is a precedent for it in the animal kingdom, but it's obviously completely wrong.
It is 100% false.
What the fuck are those things for? And I was fascinated with whales as a kid, so I should probably know this. I just don't remember. Because I don't think they. What the fuck do they use them for?
Is that normal? I just found a narwhal with 2 horns.
No, narwhals have 1.
Well, I'm looking at a picture of an Asian guy standing next to a dead narwhal that has been beheaded, and there are clearly 2 horns sticking out of its front.
Send me the picture.
Unless this is like some forced perspective shit and there's another one behind it, or if it...
That's probably what you're looking at, because that would look weird.
Or it could just be a mutation. I mean, those things happen.
A Chernobyl narwhal?
No, like, sometimes that shit just happens. Like, sometimes frogs are born with extra legs.
No, Dylan, I want Chernobyl narwhal. I want a narwhal to be put into Chernobyl just to see what happens.
So we need to make a nemesis for Orkinus, who's a giant narwhal.
Oh, God, yes. Oh. It does have 2.
Yeah, I'm thinking this was just a freak mutation. Kind of like how sometimes snakes are born with 2 heads.
Yeah. People were born with 6 toes and 5 fingers. Or they have 5 fingers. 6 fingers.
Yeah, some people have...
That guy was born with 5 fingers! You have 5 fingers, too. Oh, my God.
You know, the British royal family, and I don't know if this, I think this was back in the Middle Ages. I don't think this is still the case, but one of the British royal families, because obviously there's been power struggles before, but one of them, that was one of their genetic traits, was that they had 6 fingers.
What does that look like?
I'm not 100% sure.
I've never seen a picture of somebody who had 6 fingers. I've seen 6 toes.
Yeah, I've heard of people with 6 fingers.
I've never seen it. I'm going to look it up, though, because that sounds fucked up. And I'm interested.
Oh my god, that's bizarre.
I gotta look this up.
It looks like there's just an extra finger in between the middle finger and the other finger. Like, what? It's weird, man.
I'm gonna look at it.
Well, I see one where it's like... Then I found another one where it's like he has an extra pinky hanging off the side, and it's just this little bitty pinky. Like, it looks like it's different depending on the person, but it's...
Oh, I see one person with 7.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's fucking weird. It's a chick, too. Holy shit.
You see the one? You see the one right next to it?
That's just a hand?
No, there's one... It almost looks like... You know how some people have, like, extra teeth growing out of their gums? That's almost what it kind of looks like.
It does. It does a little bit. Well, there's one person where it's like one growing out of another finger.
Yeah. I forget what...
It looks weird. It looks weird.
I forget what's this called. Polydactyl. These people are called polydactyl.
Yeah, it's called polymorphism, right? Just for multiple limbs. Or multiple appendages. Polymorphism, I think.
Polydactyly. That is amazing.
Right.
That sounds like a dinosaur name.
Does. Look out for the polydactyly!
If I had 6 fingers, I would walk around afterwards like, I'm a polydactyl.
Just every person you meet, every time you're trying to pick up chicks, I'm a polydactyl!
What does that mean? What does that mean? You're some kind of dinosaur? No, it's significantly less cool than that. I have 6 hands.
It just means I have 6 hands. What?
6 hands.
6 hands, I fucked up. I'm sick, leave me alone.
Oh, baby, I got 6 hands. I will rock your world.
That's gonna get you some women. 6 fingers, you're gonna get fucking stares, but 6 hands, you're gonna be like, ooh.
Oh, my.
Oh, my. When you have 6 fingers, well, I guess it wouldn't matter, right? If you're driving a car, like, you wouldn't have to adjust your... No, I mean, the only problem you would really have in life is gloves.
How would you do the Spock thing?
Yeah, that would look weird.
Because
it would be uneven.
Because you'd still have one in the middle, so you could do the Spock thing and flip people off at the same time.
Oh god, that's great. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, whales are fucked up. That's our new outro. Them whales, they be fucked up.
Them whales, them German whales.
Oh, are there any whales in... No, because Germany's landlocked, isn't it?
It is.
Oh.
I'm gonna type in. I'm gonna type in German whale, and nothing will pop up.
Oh, I'm excited. No, but something's gonna pop up.
What?
Holy shit! There are whales in Germany.
What the hell am I looking at?
Somebody made Moby Dick in Germany, and it's with a beluga.
I know. I'm looking at that poster.
Like, what the fuck? How do you... Belugas are like the most nice fucking... It's like that whale looked at me weird. Kill it!
Kill it. Okay, so there are no whales in Germany. Well, I am disappointed.
Yeah, I guess not. You ever seen a river dolphin?
No.
You've never seen a river dolphin? Look up a river dolphin. That is the most fucked up thing ever created by, like... Not created, fucking ever... Just ever in history. It is the most weird-looking creature ever.
That is a dolphin?
Yeah, they live in the Amazon.
Huh.
Freshwater rivers. They're creepy. Apparently they're obviously, they're tiny too.
Look at that weird ass head, man.
Yeah, the head's weird. Because they're built for like getting in mangroves and shit, and like picking out fish and
all
that stuff. The pink one is the most normal looking.
So they still stick to the rivers like that one prehistoric whale from Walking with Prehistoric Beasts.
Yes, actually, yes, it does. It kind of looks like a smaller version of that.
Except with fins. That one, the one I'm talking about was like, it still had kind of sort of legs.
Yeah, it was still like not fully evolved. How fucked up is it that whales and dolphins evolved from like a fox-like creature that had hooves?
That would be so. I wish we still had those. I wish there were whales that occasionally came up onto the surface.
Oh yeah, the ones that were like crocodiles and shit.
Yes, I want land.
Ones...
Fuck your land shark. I want land whales.
Yeah. Oh god, that would suck. Well, I mean, killer whales as a hunting thing, they will fucking catapult themselves onto the beach and then grab seals and pull themselves back. You ever seen them do this?
I think so.
It's fucked up. It's basically their version of how great white sharks will like fucking jump in the air and grab a seal.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Whales and dolphins are weird, man. Very strange animals.
Oh, that's nice. When you type in land whales, one of the things that pops up is a fat chick sitting in a chair.
Of course it is. That's what a land whale is.
What's even weirder about these land whales is that the way they're drawn, generally speaking, I'm looking at a picture of one now, and it's weird when you think about this, but I guess it would be true. It has like the black nose like a dog would have. And so
You're not gonna believe what I saw. Fucking picture of a whale with like these weird female legs that have hair on them.
That's strange.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's like a whale with legs, but it's like they're like tranny legs. It's like these manly legs and high heels.
Oh, I'm sad now, Bill. Apparently, we weren't the first people to come up with the term obese.
Are you shitting me?
No, I'm gonna send you this link, and you're gonna laugh your ass.
Oh my!
You're gonna laugh your ass off. Although ours is a kaiju, so it's different. But
what the fuck is that? That's horrifying. No, not the obese. I'm looking at another picture. That's so mean. Oh my god. Oh, that's so mean. It's literally just a fat chick.
Yeah.
Next to a picture of a deer and a rabbit.
With her scientific name, Western obese. Obestis mortis.
Obestis mortis. That's so mean.
There's two U's, so I guess it's mortuous.
Don't be mean to fat people, everybody out there. That's my message. Just be nice. Be nice to everybody. Treat everybody with kindness.
Don't be mean to fat people. At this point, I am only chunky, but at some point, I'll probably be.
Don't be mean to fat people. I'm gonna send you a picture, and this is probably the most fucked up thing I will ever send to you.
Instead, you should be mean to vegetarians. No.
Yeah, them. So Dylan, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. That somebody posted on DeviantArt.
I'm almost excited.
Like, I don't even know what to make of this.
Some of the shit that pops up on DeviantArt, Bill. You could do a whole show just out of some of the shit that pops up on DeviantArt. My God.
Tell me that is not the most terrifying thing you have ever seen.
Is that an...
What?
Is that an udder?
That is a giant udder. Or no, it's not a giant udder. It's a giant belly with a bunch of udders sticking out of it.
That is...
This thing looks like it was just born to die.
This thing looks like Orkinus had a baby with obese.
And then the baby was like a crack baby.
Yeah,
and
it looks like it's got mental problems, doesn't it?
It does. The tongue is sticking out, and the teeth look all fucked up, and it's got these weird hairs growing out of it.
Yeah. It's very bizarre. Bill, do me a favor, hold that thought. I have to BRB.
Sure. Anyway, so yes, Dylan, I agree.
So this land whale.
This land whale is. This land whale is weird, isn't it?
It is a strange beast.
It also has this weird liquid coming out of its mouth.
It doesn't quite look like saliva.
No, it looks more like oil.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know quite what to make of this. This is a pretty terrifying creature.
Bill, do you ever wonder about what evolution could produce like millions of years in the future? Like, imagine if Africa flooded, right? And the elephants had to start living their lives in the water.
Right.
And suddenly elephants evolved into a new form of whale. I just picture this whale with like a trunk.
Oh my god! Well, it would look like a dugong, wouldn't it?
Kind of.
It
It would be a whale with like a trunk, and it has the trunk and the tusks. I just picture that swimming through the water.
Oh my god! Right. Well, I mean, I imagine first they would kind of be like crocodile-like.
Right.
Right. And like first they'd have to grow a tail, and then or a longer tail rather, and then their like legs would start to shrink and be able to. They become more maneuverable and shit. See, it's an interesting thing because they've made a bunch of documentaries about like what would happen to animals in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll jump ahead millions of years, but like this is what this turns into, and it's just this world of monsters and shit.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating.
And it's all really. I mean, there's some science behind their guessing, but it's still just guessing. I mean, it
might as well be fiction. I mean, it's literally just science fiction presented in a documentary format. It's no more a documentary than fucking Monsters is.
They can get away with it because it's the future. So technically, it's like it is possible, and you can't. You can't argue. You can't argue that.
Yeah, and they've also done fiction in documentary style. Like, you've ever seen The Last Dragon: A Fantasy Made Real?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That's exactly what that was.
Or it was like, what if dragons really existed?
Yeah, it was really cool.
At one point, I think they even went into like the mating rituals.
Yeah, they went into everything. They literally explained evolution-wise, how all the parts of a dragon would work.
Yeah, well, didn't they come up with an explanation for the breathing of the fire even?
Yep, it's gas.
It's gas.
Because there's creatures in nature that do that kind of. It's just not as overt. Like there's a type of beetle that literally shoots fire out of its ass. And it's the same thing.
Yeah, all you really need is for it to either be gas or some sort of compound that combusts when it touches air.
Yeah, well, that's what they have too. The dragons also have to eat. I rewatched it recently because I remember seeing it as a kid.
Well, is it on Netflix?
No, it's on YouTube though. It's really interesting. It's all obviously bullshit, but what's cool about something like that is if it's all bullshit and it's able to convince you of its bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it really interesting.
I want somebody to do a legit like documentary like that. I mean, obviously not legit because it would be bullshit, but like do it in that style and like make it about fucking like monsters from the Godzilla universe.
Oh yeah. Somebody did something. I don't know if you've ever seen it. There was this video on YouTube that went viral.
You could call it Walking with Kaiju.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be fantastic. You could go into the dinosaur that Godzilla was evolved from. You could create like your own canon for the Godzilla universe to explain where everything comes from.
Not only that, but just like give me a day in the life of fucking Anguirus or something.
Right, exactly. I've been aching for that. Like, what is God? I want a documentary about how Godzilla lives his life because he's still an animal.
Give me Anguirus, bumming it around on Monster Island.
Exactly, totally.
He has to run from a Titanosaurus or something.
I don't know if Anguirus would be scared of Titanosaurus because Titanosaurus.
But he's Titanic.
Oh, I'm sorry. And Anguirus is angular.
No, but he's quite a bit larger than Anguirus, so that would be a problem.
Yeah, but Anguirus can like fucking throw himself into a ball and chuck himself at somebody. You don't fuck with that shit.
You don't fuck with Anguirus.
You don't fuck with Anguirus. Listen, he may be small, but he's a scrapper. He'll fucking cut you up, man.
He's a scrapper. He's Kaiju Rocky.
No, he's Kaiju. He's like a Kaiju Joe Pesci.
Yes. Now.
You think I'm a fucking clown? I can't do impressions because of my voice, but I mean, he's fucking like cutting you. He's small, but he's like cutting you up and shit.
Final Wars taught us not to fuck with Anguirus. I mean.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I think Godzilla is the Schwarzenegger. Like, he just looks like a brick shithouse, and he is a brick shithouse.
Yeah.
Kong is like the Rocky. No, Kong is like the... Because in King Kong vs. Godzilla... Oh, fuck. Sorry, my cat just jumped on me. Simba, get off. What the hell? All right, fine. You can stay there.
Claws extended.
What?
Were his claws extended?
Oh yeah. Ow. So everybody, Simba is going to be sitting here for the rest of the video because he cannot not have attention. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, I remember. In King Kong vs. Godzilla, does Kong do anything like overtly martial arts-esque? No, right?
Not that I can remember, no.
He's all like boxing moves and shit.
This was before the fighting in the movies got like way over the top.
Right. But even later on, Godzilla was more doing like boxing moves and shit.
Yeah.
As opposed to like martial arts. That was like what Jet Jaguar was doing. Jet Jaguar was doing the martial arts.
Aside from the occasional like flying kick or
yeah, the occasional, as in he did it twice.
Or the occasional flying.
Oh God.
He doesn't do anything that.
I don't get how that works. I just don't. Like, how does he stay propelled in the air?
Explain that, Werner von Braun.
I kind of get the logistics of him propelling himself in the air. Kind of.
It's kind of a problem because they never really show the kickback from his atomic blast before, so...
Right, I mean, it kind of works because obviously the ground isn't going to move, so it kind of, in a fucked up pseudoscientific way, kind of makes sense. Like, if he did that, and he fires himself across the sky... He's going to fucking careen right into, like, a boulder or something.
Yeah. How does he steer?
Yeah, exactly.
What is his steering method?
Anyway, so, as I was saying, so, Godzilla, like, what would have to happen for Godzilla to be able to, like, fly that way is he would have to be shooting equal amounts of gas out of his ass in order to stay in the air, right?
Perfect explanation, Bill. If only not for the way his tail is curved in that scene. Right.
Well, yeah, I guess his ass would be covered, right?
Yeah.
It logistically makes no sense, but I guess I didn't have to tell you that.
It's something you don't see every day, you know, Bill.
Cheeky ass motherfucker who made that DVD. I love the Japanese military's reaction too. They're just like, "What the fuck?"
I know.
It's perfect. The goofy ass music.
The actors should have just like looked at each other and been like, "You guys, I think we just jumped the shark."
Well, I mean, Happy Days didn't exist at that point, so they would have been creating their own thing.
No, the whole metaphor of jumping the shark doesn't even exist. So he would be like, "You guys, I think we just jumped the shark," and the person he was talking to is like, "What does that mean?"
That's genius. Where'd you come up with that? Don't worry about it.
Turns out he's one of the time travelers from 91.
Oh, that would be a thing, yeah. He's one of the Futurians.
He goes back in time and creates the phrase "jumping the shark." It's like, why did you go through all that trouble?
Well, for some reason, one of the Happy Days creators is fucking in that scene.
He hears him, and it's like the Colonel Shakespeare moment. And he's like, yes.
To be or not to be? I'm going to use that.
It's just, and the worst part about it is that goofy ass music in that scene.
Oh yeah, I mean, just aside from the looks on everybody's faces, like, are you shitting me? Not only can he like crush a building, he can also fly now. This guy's overpowered. And then it's just like the dent. It's like this fuck you. It's like this fuck you music. Just like fuck you. Yeah, this is happening right now.
The whole time the music's playing, I just see the troll face.
Godzilla's got the troll face. Hedorah's got that face that people put on Batman. They're like, what face?
Godzilla's just flying through the air with the troll face, and he's like, you mad?
Somebody with editing capabilities. Fucking edit that scene to give Godzilla the troll face.
Yes. He's just like, you mad, bro?
Hang on, Dylan, 1 second. I gotta let the cat out. So he doesn't disrupt anymore. 1 second.
What is he in the bag?
Oh. Okay, we will have no more cats jumping on my back.
Now that the cat's out of the bag.
Look at you, troll face. We need a soundboard for this show.
We do need a soundboard for this show. Get on that shit.
We'll do. There's probably an app I can get, but I'm too lazy. So yeah, we were talking about Godzilla flying. I mean, at least there's some, like, logical stuff going on behind that. The one that doesn't make any sense is the flying kick. How does that work?
I don't know.
So Godzilla literally fucking runs at the camera and then somehow elevates himself and, like, slides into Megalon. I don't understand how that works.
Apparently his tail is so strong that it can hold him up and at the same time act like a snake, dragging him across the landscape.
It looks like he's on a fucking track, which is probably exactly how they shot it. It's ridiculous.
Not one of the series' finest moments.
No, not at all. Well, it's one of the finest moments in terms of look how fucked up that is.
It's one of my favorite moments in the movie.
Right, but it's not one of the shining crown achievements of the Godzilla franchise.
It's really not.
That and just that scene of Godzilla just smashing Megalon into the ground, and there's clearly nobody inside the Megalon suit.
Oh yeah.
There's this picture online of them doing pre-production on Godzilla vs. Megalon, which was like a week. And it's all they're testing out all the costumes in like a gym. And it's so surreal to see like these Godzilla monsters walking around the gymnasium. Yeah, I thought that was surreal.
Was they like doing wrestling moves and shit?
No, they were just walking around just to make sure they were working.
Oh, that's disappointing. What I needed is a picture of the guy in the Godzilla suit just like fucking pumping iron.
No, even better, playing basketball with the other guys in the suits.
Yeah.
Megalon, fuck you guys.
They're wearing gym shorts over the suits, and they've got the sweatbands.
They've got the headbands.
And they're dunking.
What?
They're fucking slam dunking and shit.
They've all got fucking those shoes that Godzilla was wearing in Godzilla vs. Charles Barkley.
Oh god, somebody who's better at drawing than me needs to make this happen.
Just this image of the monsters from Godzilla vs. Megalon just playing basketball.
Yeah, Jaguar's a Harlem Globetrotter.
Oh god, yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
He would be doing all the moves with the basketball, spinning it.
That would ruin your sex life. That's a reference to something the listeners don't get.
No, the card was something about spicing up your sex life by bringing in, and the card I played was the Harlem Globetrotters.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah. The card was like my girlfriend was really bored with our sex life until I brought blank into the bedroom, and the card I played was the Harlem Globetrotters.
And it was great. And then the guy selecting didn't select that, and Dylan thought he got gypped.
I did get gypped. I was robbed.
I was robbed of my Cards Against Humanity glory. I haven't lost perspective at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. So, Dylan, I was watching another documentary earlier, a nature documentary, a BBC one, made by the same people who made Walking with Dinosaurs, called Blue Planet.
I've heard of this.
It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and check it out. It is, oh god, it's insane. Like, some of the shots they get, it's like, how the fuck did they even do this?
Yeah, I've heard good things.
It's beautiful. The music score is excellent. It's one of those very slow, low-key documentaries that allows you to take in the imagery, and the narrator isn't constantly overbearing you. But what I wanted to say about it was, it's like eight or 9 episodes long, and they're all hour-long episodes, so there's obviously a lot of information. My favorite so far was the one where they're on the ocean's floor, like deep down, dark in the abysses and shit, like where anglerfish live. And if you, what they do is they're like, it looks all dark down here, but that's only because we have the sublights on. Turn off the sublights. They turn off the sublights, and there's just a barrage of lights going on. Just a bunch of, like, fireworks and shit. And what it all is all these creatures emitting bioluminescence.
Mm.
And it looks insane. So they start showing you these creatures that are just so alien. They might as well be aliens. Like, just because of how bizarre they look. It's awesome and really creepy and shit. One of them was this, like, shrimp thing that literally shoots out, like, this liquid, this glowing liquid, and shoots it at predators, and, it explodes. It's like shooting a laser.
That's his jizz.
Way to keep it mature. There's a precedent for that.
Because the SOS Podcasting Network is known, among many things, for our maturity.
Yes. It's a pinnacle of maturity. Yes.
It's not like we have a scale by which to measure the amount of human ejaculate that would be inspired by a particular event.
What was the other one we came up with last time?
Oh god, I don't remember.
The pussy one? I don't remember.
The pussy one.
Fuck. There was one involving the pussy.
Yeah.
Jizz scale, and then there was another one. Anyway, so that just shows you how mature we are.
Yeah, something to do with the pussy. I remember the pussy.
The pussy, yeah.
The pussy.
The pussy. Yeah, not the pussy, because that sounds... The pussy.
These are the kinds of conversations we have off recording about the pussy and dim titties.
Dim titties and the pussy. Shows how much, again, maturity is elevated. But why I bring this up is because when they showed the footage of this happening, they played like this laser beam effect that goes like pew pew pew, and I'm like, there's no way it makes that sound.
No. No
way it makes that sound.
First of all, it wouldn't be that clear underwater anyway.
Right. So I was like, this had to be put in later. So I was like, what the fuck? That sounds so silly. Why would you put that in?
It's kind of like when you're watching a space opera and there's laser noises in space and you're like, yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, look at that and explosions. Because when stuff explodes in space, there's no fire, right? It's literally just like, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
So Star Wars is bullshit.
Yeah. All of your space operas are bullshit, Bill.
There's no truth in Star Wars.
There's no truth in that art.
There's no truth in that art. Well, yeah, I guess there isn't. There's no truth in Star Wars. Because a big misconception about suns is that suns there's no fire going on a sun. It's all just energy. It's like gas and shit, and like, it's not fire. It's like just a big ball of energy.
Yeah.
Suns are weird.
Suns are weird.
Yeah, it's true.
They're terrible human beings.
They're terrible human beings. So we're about an hour and a half in. I think that's all we can bear.
Yeah, that's good enough.
I think that'll do.
We didn't have too much to talk about this time.
No, it's been a slow week, and I've been sick, and we're just not our usual enthusiastic selves.
Yeah, because I'm usually so enthusiastic. I mean,
but at least I usually razzle you up. Like, I usually try and get you energized, and I just can't do that tonight. I just don't have the energy. I've got no direction tonight, Dylan.
Bill has lost his perspective.
Lost my perspective.
He's got no direction in life.
It's true.
He's like a leaf blowing in the wind.
I'm a feather blowing in the wind. Forrest Gump. Yeah. So I think that's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Demons from Outer Space. Obviously, again, no episode next week because Dylan's gonna be away. Maybe I'll try and post something in its place. Maybe I'll do a video with somebody else or a podcast with somebody else. Have somebody fill in for Dylan. We'll see. Because obviously next week is my first week of school, so this actually might be ideal for me to not have to do DFOS next week. But we'll see. We'll see what goes on. But there will be a new Sons of SERIZAWA next week. Dylan will not be in that one, but we'll have a new podcast going up. So, yeah. Again, if you haven't already, like the Sons of SERIZAWA Network homepage on Facebook. for updates on all of our podcasting activities. But, I don't know, Dylan, I think that's it. Anything you want to mention before we go?
No, I think that's good.
All right.
I don't think there's anything else going on.
Yeah. Again, we apologize if this was not our best podcast.
We had like a big week last week, and now we're all just kind of sitting back.
It's kind of an aftermath week.
It really is.
It really is. It's kind of an aftermath week.
Because last week was very big for the SOS.
We had a lot of shit going on last week.
A lot of balls in the air last week.
We had a lot of balls in our hands.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
See, I can't do impressions. I'm just like, oh my.
It's like,
sounds
oh
like
my. I'm like, whoa.
It's like fucking Shredder.
Dr. Claw from Such a Gadget.
Oh my gadget. Oh my. See, at least my voice sounds deeper than it usually does, because I'm usually way up here, but now I'm like down here tonight.
No, you're down here with the deep boys tonight, Bill.
Yeah. Did you never mind. It's not relevant. I give up. I think we're gonna end it here. So until next time, I'm Zazubaar.
Super GM64.
And them Germans and them whales, they be fucked up.